All right, it is episode 59 of the Schulte cast. Good morning. I don't think I've done the audio portion. I think I need to do that on the backside. Uh, so we're a little lazy there. And again, I just think I need to put the emblem, the logo on the podcast page on YouTube, and it'll get into the ether, if you will. We'll see. Because we're getting more and more people watching. You know, I maybe it's on a Monday. It seems to do well. Seems to be more news on weekends than there is other days. Although we are coming to a slow time, right? We got the NBA draft coming up, Major League Baseball draft coming up, but there's not a whole lot going on over the next few weeks. It was to me. Was Father's Day early? Because I seem to remember being home this week. Is the calendar different this year? Does that seem odd? I am usually home on Father's Day. Like it was a week earlier this year? Is that just me? Maybe not. Because this is the way it usually goes, okay? I go home for 2 weeks. We've, noticed in COVID, we don't have to be in the radio studio. And I've been fortunate in Mobile and even here in Lafayette, where it didn't work out very long, that I could go home. And being there with Mama Schultz for a couple of weeks and doing it on the deck is outstanding. But I'd always show up like on the Saturday or Sunday, and we're watching the U.S. Open. I swear we were watching the U.S. Open. I guess that could be me. Maybe not. We seem to be watching it, because my aunt's mom and uncle don't watch golf too much. I'm the one sitting there watching golf. So it feels like Father's Day was, or maybe I'm watching the tournament before. I don't know. But I don't know. It just seems like everything is a little bit late this year, right? It's not like if I went home this week, I wouldn't be there for the 1st of July. And that's when the whole family gets together. Whole family comes in the first week of July. It's always July 3rd. I don't know why it's July 3rd. Seems like I would remember sitting on the couch. I'm like, I'm usually home watching this. And I wasn't. What's the other thing I was going to say about DeChambeau? Rory apologized yesterday. I'm not going to go too hard on him, but he messed up. All right, he did. All right, you could be demoralized. You could be disappointed. It can be a punch gut. But that's where, right, someone in his entourage goes, take a deep breath. Hell, do a shot of tequila if you want. All right, although not in front of everybody. You're going to have to talk to the media. It takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is. Go congratulate Bryson. All right. And you won't have to deal with everything that just came your way, right? It's going to be a day talking. it's going to be a talking point for yesterday and maybe a little bit today. It certainly was after the golf tournament, but then it's going to be a talking point, and he's going to have to answer questions at the Scottish Open, right? He just delayed the inevitable, and he's going to have to do it again at the British Open. So if you just take 5 or 10 minutes at the time, go congratulate Bryson, take a deep breath. All right. Talk to the media. It's over. And then you can go sulk back at home. You don't have to go to the Travelers, right? No one would have a problem with that. All right. But now he's going to have to answer the question. It's going to linger. It's going to go away and then come back. They would probably ask, instead of, why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do that? How did you get over the loss? And that's coming, right? That's coming either way, right? I wouldn't be surprised if he's talking to Tiger, right? They all live in that same Jupiter community. They're all neighbors, Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth. Roy lives there, and they all live there. So we shall see. So he just delayed the inevitable, but that's where someone in the group, the agent or the manager, Roy, you really need to just take a second. You're going to do it eventually. Why don't we get it out of the way now? No, that's where someone who could talk to him would say, put the clubs away. Let's go back and talk to the media. Go congratulate Bryson, and you get it out of the way, right? It's painful. It's awkward. But, I mean, I just remember seeing Scotty Scheffler. I swear it was either on Friday or Saturday sitting down with Damon Hack, and he struggled. And I don't know if he was all smiles, but he was just kind of matter-of-factly sitting down and talking about it and, things like that. So he did I don't know if he apologized, but he did congratulate Bryson. So, it is what it is. All right, Celtics NBA champs. I need excuse me, I need to cut back to a pack a day. Just to make sure that's a joke, right? We know I don't smoke, right? I don't smoke anything. Celtics NBA champs. They really dominated Dallas, right? Dallas looked really good all the way through the playoffs until they played Boston. They had a couple of chances, even in game one, right, where they were getting blown out by 29. They cut it to 8. They had a chance in that ballgame. They certainly had chances in game 2 and game 3, blew them out in game 4, and then kind of was a no-show in game 5, all right? Celtics were the best team all year long. I could care less if Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum are better players. I saw Jaylen Brown played an NCAA tournament game against Syracuse. That's way back in the day. Cuse against Cal. I don't think he had a great game because of the zone, but whatever. They're both incredibly good, versatile players. Whereas, basically Doris Burke was saying that, saying that Doncic has got to get in better shape. That's basically what it is. I'm not saying she was saying he was fat, but he's got to get quicker, right? And remember, The Last Dance, when Jordan lost to the Pistons, he took off a weekend. Like, that was it, and we'll go back at it. And that's when he put on the 10 to 15 pounds of muscle to handle the Jordan rules. So we'll see. Now you got the whole Olympics thing going at it, where we'll see if he's playing. And Windhorst said they got to play Greece. You have Doncic and Giannis playing. I don't know. Normally, if you're kind of beat up the way Doncic is right now, you would take a month off and recuperate. And that only really gives you 2 months to get ready for the season, right? If you took a month off, it's less. When did NBA camps open up? Because it moves up. NBA camps open 2024. Is it the middle of September or the beginning of October? Key dates. Let's see here. Well, that's for the 23. Well, let's see what the 23. Well, it's just 2024. All right. It does not say 2024. Previous dates. Okay. We're going to do previous dates. So training camp opens the 27th of September. Okay. So that's, if he takes a month off, we'll just say all of July. So that's 6 weeks. He's got August and September to get in shape. So he's only got 2 months if he takes a month and a half to recuperate if he doesn't play in the Olympics, right? And they got to qualify. So we'll see if they're not sure he's doing that. No. Celtics were really good. My brother's a Celtics fan from a long time ago. I certainly back in the day, I'm sure hated the Celtics, mostly probably because my brother liked them. I was a Sixers fan, and the Celtics won more than my team did. So he was happy. I'm not sure how much he watches them throughout the year, but certainly he was watching last night, and my nephew, Sam, was doing the same. He is a voracious tweeter with the graphics. He's really good at that. See, Kevin Foote wrote about the Cajuns trying to replace Robichaux as the pitching coach. So you can check that out in the Acadiana Advocate. And eventually he's going to have, I don't know how much talk about voracious. Did he write about the basketball players? He did. have a story, and I'm sure it's going to come out, that one of the transfers had a issue with the coach and kind of was blackballed for the season. And so hopefully they can contribute here. Talking to a coach yesterday, they said, oh no, Kevin Foote said, it wasn't a coach. Kevin Foote said they're going to be much more athletic than they were last year, which is kind of where their downfall was, right? Arkansas State was super athletic. Cajuns may have had the size, but Arkansas State was super athletic. And the thing is, you need to be able to shoot the three, right? When Kobe stopped making threes was the end of the season. When the Cajuns stopped making threes, that's when they went into the tank. They live by the three, they die by the three, as most teams do, right? You could say the same thing, although maybe Alabama went up against UConn, so that may mean not a difference. So, Alabama's the same way, live by the three, die by the three. I like making adjustments. Nate Oates doesn't make the adjustments. We could be cold for 25 minutes. We're going to keep shooting threes, right? And he doesn't yell at his team if they miss, especially if they're open shots. And that's always been the thing about Bob Marlin's offense. I've never thought they forced bad three-pointers. They just weren't making them. And so usually they, whether it be Sean or Bryce or Kintinge, they've always had good post players, right? They've always had guys inside. And usually the point guards are not the most prolific of three-point shooters. I think of Themis Folks and Alfred Payton come to mind. Excuse me. And, maybe more mid-range jumpers, right? I think there's a big difference between hitting a 10-footer or an 18-footer. Like, there's no reason to shoot an 18-footer. I don't have to pump fake and take a step in right beyond the three-point line. But if I can pump fake and have the guy go past me, either step to the side and take the three-pointer or go halfway to the bucket where the guy helping isn't coming out from under the basket and blocking the shot. That's what I mean, right? We can, the glass is there. You can use the backboard on easy jumpers that people are willing to give up, right? Also, I know Bob Marlin does this, that he's really good at chasing guys off of the three-point line. We'll give up the layup because it's not a three. If you go all the way to the bucket, I would pull up and hit some relatively easy jumpers. I know those are not automatic, but so we'll see. Cajuns got a lot of guys in the transfer portal. It was a little bit. Some guys left. Some interesting decisions. Kobe ended up at Arkansas State. One of my guys, Q from Syracuse, went to McNeese, right? Joe Charles at McNeese. Interesting. Maybe we can get one of those guys on or both of them. That's really my world colliding, right? I don't know Q at all. I'm not even sure Joe knows me, and his dad knows my name more than Joe does. But so certainly Joe would know me if he saw me. So that is worlds colliding, and I do hope that he got a little bit of cash, all right, and he's going to play. With all the transfers coming in, because Joe is such a tweener, and he's so good at doing things outside of scoring, defense, all right, moving the ball, driving to the hoop. But that shot is so awkward and inconsistent. One day he can go for 18, and the next day he can go for 8. If he can be more consistent, and McNeese is the same way, right? Will Wade, almost the same thing as Nate Oates. We're shooting threes. We're going to the hoop. We're trying to get to the foul line. That's it, right? How often does Bob Marlin talk about, they shot more free throws than we did, or we shot more free throws than they did? It is interesting when that happens. When they shoot more free throws than the Cajuns, it's the ref's fault. When the Cajuns shoot more free throws, it's good coaching and play. All right, it is the Schultze cast. Had a big day yesterday. Did get the haircut, right? I'm not showered. Stoney, my guy Stoney, the bourbon barber, if you will. Cut it up. Usually I can go 6 to 8 weeks without a haircut, but the humidity just kicked in and it went from like in good shape to out of control. And when my hair gets out of control, it looks like a chia pet. So I'm going home for a couple weeks. It'll look grown in a week. I mean, it is hot. And then upstate New York is getting hot. They're getting a heat wave. Let me see. Because usually I get to go home and do the show and enjoy myself. Are we going to get hit with rain? We got more rain coming in. They got Alberto. It seems to be. Is that the first storm of the year? Will affect much of the western Gulf Coast. Okay. That's Mexico and a little bit of Texas. Okay. Oh, no. I don't want to laugh yet. Let's see here what we got. I mean, it does look like more rain is coming our way today. Let's see. Little system in, yeah. Oh, and it's very odd. The system is, yeah, it's going like this. So we're getting, yeah. Usually the systems come right west from east. This seems to be going from east to west or south to north. A little backwards. All right. But that's here. Let me see where what I got here. 10 days. And so Syracuse is 81. They already got some sort of warning out. Let's see what they got here. Warning. Heat advisory. 10 days in Syracuse. All right. Let's see what we got. 97 degrees today. Okay. Yeah. That is usually not the case in the Q's. 97. Now, when I go home, it's cooled off. It doesn't look like great weather, by the way. Although, who believes 10-day forecasts? Today and tomorrow and Thursday in Syracuse in the 90s. That's really early in June for that. But I'm not going up there until Sunday and Monday. And then I'm getting there Monday. They're getting rain. The low is 61. That's going to be beautiful. High is 76. By the time I leave in July, it's in the 90s. Or by the time the 4th comes around, it is in the 90s. But that's expected. Hopefully it's not too humid. 97 is a little bit warm for central New York. All right, we did do Lockdown Sunbelt. I guess I'm out of timely topics, kind of previewing the season. I happen to think it's the year of the Bobcats. This year is set up for Texas State. It certainly didn't look that way when you had the whole quarterback snafu. One coming back late, but they had to go get somebody, and they brought somebody else in, and so TJ Finley left, and then the guy who had off the field issues had to leave. And then we don't have a quarterback. Malik Hornsby transferred out to go to Arkansas State to play wide receiver, and we get the Sun Belt Player of the Year. All right. I did put it out that GJ Kinney, and I'm sure I'm going to get response to this from them, has to know when to play keep a close check, right? Remember when I did that on the radio? Because he would kick field goals, and I'm not a big fan of kicking field goals. You got to know when to kick the field goal. There are times, right? Scared money don't make money. But when did Billy Napier was doing that from like the 1 or the 2, right? I'd say even inside the 1. I'm not even sure he got in. But if you make it, you get the touchdown. Last year, the Bobcats were going 4th and 3 from the Cajuns 18 with 11 seconds left. At best, you're going to get one more play, and you're going to be lucky to do that. I don't even know if they had a timeout left. You may run out of time. So they should have kicked a 35-yard field goal, would have gone up 23-14 at half, and, the Cajuns come back and win that football game. So if they improve a little defensively, and they got a stretch where they got a bunch of road games, like 4 to 5 on the road, but they starting out like 4 at home. They got UTSA at home week 2. Last year, the UTSA game was a letdown game because they'd beaten Baylor and didn't play very well against UTSA. This year, they got UTSA after Lamar and right before Arizona State. You'd say that's a trap game, but it really isn't because UTSA is probably better than Arizona State. Now, I think it's their year. The big key, right, which everyone over here is going to be talking about, Texas State can't beat the Cajuns for whatever reason. Doesn't matter who the coaches are. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Doesn't matter style of play. Texas State can't beat the Cajuns in football. Now, heading into the season, Texas State, at least on paper, is better than the Cajuns. All right. There's a big difference, with all due respect, from, between Jordan McLeod, the Sun Belt Player of the Year, and Chandler Fields or Ben Wooldridge, whoever the quarterback is. We don't even know who the quarterback is going to be. We think it's going to be Chandler, but I have no idea. All right. Is Ben going to be healthy? How do you determine that? I think if you're Chandler and you came back, sad to say this, you're almost counting on Ben not staying healthy, right? That's why you came back, right? If Zion was here, he wouldn't have come back because now he's got no chance of playing. But he's got a better than 50-50 chance of playing because Ben can't stay healthy, some freak injuries for whatever reason. So I think it's the year of the Bobcats. I really do. All right, we were just up to 48. We're going to Orange Theory. We're down. I put on a little bit of weight. Like I was right before Memorial Day weekend, I was down to 208. I put on 10 pounds since. There's a little travel in there, right? Wherever I was a couple weeks ago, I ate well. College Station for the regional ate well. But both places I exercised. I went for a couple of runs. I went to Orange Theory in College Station and did 2 runs in College Station. Where I was, a couple weekends ago, I went to Orange Theory 3 times. So we'll see. It's got, it's the eating portion of the show that's an issue. I got a big chocolate chip cookie at CC's yesterday. That was good. Yeah, that was good. So we'll see if we can lose. Maybe I could be, 210. I waited at 215 today. Can it be 210 by next Sunday? Because I'm not leaving until Sunday evening. So I'll get the workout in. We'll see. Mama Schultz already buying me the diet green tea and protein shakes. So I'm good with that. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see here. Brandon Aiyuk I've been somehow dragged Jaden Daniels into this. I don't know how Brandon Aiyuk and Jaden Daniels know each other. Brandon Aiyuk go to Arizona State. But Brandon Aiyuk, he did go to Arizona State. There you go. All right. And so Brandon Aiyuk he put this out on Instagram or something like that. He's FaceTiming Jaden Daniels. Someone is recording that. And they put it out there that the 49ers don't want him back. Now, that's a big statement, right? They don't want you back at whatever money you want, right? Alvin Kamara stepped aside because he wants a new contract. We'll see. That's not going to happen. And I don't know if Kamara is going to sit out for that. I don't think that benefits Alvin Kamara at all. Right, his contract this year is guaranteed. Next year it is not, and it's a huge number. And you gotta wait. You gotta wait him out. If he doesn't come back, it's not like the Saints are. We don't think the Saints are contending this year. The 49ers are contending, right? Do you do it one more time? What do you give Aiyuk? I think T. Higgins tag. The only problem with the franchise tag is it's a 1-year deal. The good thing is it's guaranteed. So he's getting all of that, all paid out, whatever it was, right? And it's got to be, an average of the top 5 salaries. So it's not like he's not getting paid. Let me see. T. Higgins. Let's see here. T. Higgins signs franchise tag report for training camp. This is Michael Baca from NFL.com. Kelsey Conway, apparently from the Cincinnati Enquirer, was the first to report it. Higgins is due to make roughly $21.8 million. No. So it's not like he's not getting paid. And what do we say? Tyreek Hill was getting $25 million, and Jefferson a little bit more than that. They're still getting 22. Now, that's not $100 million guaranteed. That's what he's looking for. He's looking for the big payday, right? It's not the average annual salary. He's looking to cash in, which he should. Talk about being negotiated away. That franchise tag is really bad for the players. They should have got rid of that a long time ago. So, not great. But Aiyuk is a big part of the 49ers offense, we think, or else is Kyle Shanahan going to say, we can do it without you, right? I happen to think, it's just me, wide receivers are overpaid. Not quite like running backs, but they're a little bit like a dime a dozen, I happen to think. Let's check these out. Let's check this out, right? Because I always took Saquon Barkley, and the money that he wanted for running backs, you can get 80% of the production for 20% of the cost. I'm not exactly sure you can do that in the NFL with wide receivers, but let's see. Let's see where we are. All right. Receiving. Okay. So Tyreek Hill, 1,800 yards, 13 touchdowns. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Calvin Ridley, 1,000 yards for 8 touchdowns. What did Ridley make last year? Now, he had a big contract. Well, he just signed a 4-year, $92 million deal with Tennessee. Let me see what his contract was last year. He may be a bad example. Let me see here. Career earnings. All right. Right. Well, he had the gambling issue, right? Did he make $22 million last year? Oh no, that's total. All right, so that's total. He made $11 million in 2023. All right. And Tyreek Hill made 25. So that's just a random sample. Where was he? Calvin Ridley, 25th in the league with 1,000 receiving yards. So that's not quite half, 18 to 1,000, right? 900 would be 50%. And Tyreek Hill scored 5 more touchdowns for like $15 million more dollars. What did Mike Evans make last year? Mike Evans get paid last year? That was with Baker, remember? All right, he signed a 5-year deal this year. All right. All right. Does it say when he signed it? Yeah. Let's see what he made last year. I think that's a lot of money. So last year he made, his cap hit was $22 million. He made $18 million last year. That's $7 million less. And that may just be when the contract was structured, right? So $7 million less. Mike Evans had 550 less yards, same amount of touchdowns. I think some of these guys are a dime a dozen. And then you get the Puka Nacua deal. And he obviously he may have been the best value in the whole entire NFL last year. Almost 1,500 yards and 6 touchdowns. I know he's got obviously a record-setting wide receiver next to him, but a lot of these guys have 2 guys next to him, right? Justin Jefferson's numbers were down because he only played 10 ball games. All right. All right, I was right. I'm not right very often. Garrett Cole coming back for the Yanks. I was told that, we do have a bit of news. All right. Garrett Cole getting called up to the Yankees to play against the Orioles. And Dylan Cruz was promoted. All right. Dylan Cruz is coming off a good week. Not a great week. I think it was like 8 for 25. Like, he has not had a good season yet. We're all rooting for Dylan Cruz, but he's off to he's getting better. And maybe this is where I'm the difference between reasons and excuses. He may not be used to the cold, and maybe we've talked about this. It's cold in Harrisburg to begin the season, right? But where else it's cold to begin the season? Washington. Where else it may be cold when you begin the season? Philadelphia and the Mets, right? Not everyone's going to start in Florida to begin the season. So it's going to be chilly when you start the season in April, maybe even March. So he was struggling a little bit better in May. And I mean, someone who covers the Nationals, Grant Paulson, says he's red hot. Again, not really. All right. Better. But we know what Dylan Cruz, red hot looks like. And 8 for 25 is not Dylan Cruz red hot. Let me see. I got it here on Baseball Reference. The point is not to mock Dylan Cruz. It's just to tell you how hard it is to play pro ball. Last 7 days, okay, he is hitting 381. That's better than I thought. Okay. He is 8 for 21. All right. That's a good week in the last 7 days. That's a good week. Okay. He's hitting 274 for the season. He's got 5 home runs and 38 driven in. 38 driven in isn't bad. I don't know where he hits in the lineup. But here's the difference between what he's doing in the minor leagues compared to what he did at LSU. He had 71 strikeouts and 46 walks in his junior year at LSU. In 51 games, he's got 50 strikeouts in the minors. 50. He's walked 16 times. Some of the guys that he's facing are going to be in the big leagues. A lot of them are not. You're facing those middle relievers. A lot of those guys are filling roster spots. It's tough. Now, as it turns out, we may bump into Dylan Cruz. He's going to Rochester. All right. We put it out there to my buddy, Josh Wetzel, the voice of the Red Wings. See if you can get Dylan Cruz to eat a garbage plate. All right. And I'm going to see Josh. He's one of my best friends, and I get to see him once a year. He was just in Syracuse, so they're not. Sometimes the series, he actually came out to the lake one day. That was pretty cool. But it will go into Rochester and watch the Red Wings play. And again, Dylan came on my show. I guess I could go up and say thank you. I don't really know Dylan Cruz. I wasn't covering LSU on a regular basis last year. Was there for, I think, the regional and the super regional. I went back and forth. But, not like again, Joe Charles would know who I was, right? Like, he's seen me around consistently. Dylan Cruz's life has been spinning for the better part of a year, right? From winning a national championship to getting drafted to playing pro ball last year, probably in Strucks, being in Double-A. struggling for maybe the first time in his career, which is, by the way, that is the point of minor league baseball. We want you to struggle in places like Harrisburg and Peoria and Rochester before we send you up to the Nationals and you can't buy a hit. Didn't they just promote? Didn't somebody just get promoted? One of the top prospects got promoted this year and really struggled in the big leagues. Like the son, was it the Cardinals outfielder? He's a shortstop, and he's the son of a Cardinals outfielder, and just struggled, straight flat out struggled. And I think they sent him back down. Get him out of the limelight, get that confidence back up. Instead of sitting there answering questions in front of, whatever it is, 5, 10, 15 media members. I mean, you know how many media members are covering the Rochester Red Wings? Like usually one. You're lucky if there's more than one in the postgame, right? Now, Dylan Cruz shows up. He may do, we'll do a press conference, prior to the game, get all the cameras out there, and then the cameras are going to be there just to go grab highlights. They don't get any postgame, game's too late to the news. You don't have time to cut it up. So basically it's the newspaper guy getting post-game comments from Dylan Cruz. So wishing him the best. But the point is that baseball is really hard. And for the first time, he seems to be struggling. Maybe he figured it out in the last week. You just never know, right? I've seen a couple of different kids. This is a long time ago. Both were on Peoria. Andy Hall was hitting .330 for the first 4 months of the season. Could not buy a hit in August. And I think he was out of baseball by the middle of the next year. I mean, he went from, this guy was a doubles machine. He didn't have a lot of power, right? He did a home run every now and then, but he was a doubles and RBI machine, hitting number 3, not a big guy, hitting in the 3-hole. And then couldn't buy a hit. And then I'm not sure he lasted through the 97 season. Chris Haas was a top Cardinals prospect, and he was slumping at the end of the year, slumping so badly at the plate, it was affecting his play defensively, so they had to sit him as they were trying to win in the playoffs. He did come off the bench and hit a pinch hit home run against the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. Someone named David Arias was at first base. You may know him as David Ortiz. Now, the Timber Rattlers went on to win that series 2-1. But Chris Haas, kept on going and ended up with a cup of coffee in the big leagues. If you saw his Peoria stats defensively and offensively in the strikeouts, you'd be like, well, this guy's not going to make it. And yet stuck around, played through it. He was a high draft pick, so maybe they gave him a little bit of money back in the day. Good, really good kid. A great family from Paducah, Kentucky. And he got a cup of coffee in the big leagues. So, and then you go to, well, we brought this up before, right? And I got to get going. You do Daniel Cabrera. Like Daniel Cabrera hasn't. No, that's not it. Hold on. Let me see here. Daniel, isn't it? I thought it was. Maybe I got the wrong guy here. No, that's it. Okay. I'm right. Okay. Daniel Cabrera, minor league. We've been through this. Like, he was a good ball player. His career minor league stats, he's hitting .235. I think he's banged up this year. Oh, it says restricted list. Did he call it a career? He may have called it a career. In 2021, high A and double A, he hit .242 and 174. 2022, also high A and double A. He got off to a good start in high A, hitting .346, and then went to double A and hit .206. 2023, actually in high A and double A, high A .263, double A .236. So it's hard. He may have retired if he's on the restricted list. I don't know. Let's see. Did I stumble upon news? Restricted list. I don't know what happened there. Let's see here. All right, so Emily Walden covers the Tigers. She put it on there. Tigers have promoted Ty Madden from Erie to Toledo. Austin Berger has transferred from Toledo to Erie. Daniel Cabrera has been placed on the Erie restricted list, according to the team. Now, that is April 29th. I don't know what that means. I really don't. There's been no news on that. Let's see here. Bless You Boys. Is that a Tigers blog? Right-handers new splitter. All right. So that's April 29th. No, that's about Ty Madden. No. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Anything else? No. Oh, there it goes. And that better news, outfielder Daniel Cabrera, third rounder, has been placed on the Aries restricted list. I don't know. I don't know what that means, honestly. Let's see. Baseball restricted list. I don't know what that means. What does restricted list mean? Okay. An MLB restricted list situation is in which a player, despite being a member of the team, is not active. It is different from the injury list. A player placed on the restricted list for the following reasons: might be unavailable for non-baseball related purposes, thinks about retiring but is still capable of playing or making a return, leaves team without reasons. Interesting. All right. I didn't realize that when I had looked up. I think last time I looked him up, I didn't realize he was on the restricted list. But again, the point is that pro baseball is hard. When you see a guy like Paul Skeens going through it, or Alex Bregman moved up, it came really easy to them. It's different guys take different paths. Obviously, the Nationals are going to push him because they gave him a lot of money. But you'd like to see him. You'd like to see him do a little bit better. Again, he did well the last week. I think the last 7 days, one of those games got cut off. But anyways, doing well the last week. And he's gotten promoted to AAA. Now what you're going to get is you're going to get some of these, if they are journeymen, pitching against Dylan Cruz, knowing all the scouts are watching him. This is their opportunity to say, I don't know if I can get to the big leagues, but I'm going to go all out against Dylan Cruz. Don't think that doesn't happen. I don't know. It may not be a Caitlin Clark situation, but you know that you're facing a number 2 pick in the draft, big time. You know that in a big way. All right. The thing is, Dylan Cruz is a good guy, so there's not animosity there, I don't think, but it is a time for. Some middle reliever may come in and, this may be my highlight of my career. I get to strike out Dylan Cruz. So we do wish him the best. And hopefully I will get a chance to say hello to him in a couple weeks. Technically it'll be next Thursday. What day is it today? I lose track of that. Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, today's Tuesday. So it won't be this Thursday. It'll be next Thursday, the 27th. As for me, again, I got a lot of hooks in the water, if you will. A couple of radio opportunities still working on, and then something that has nothing to do with radio whatsoever, and that is moving quickly. So it is interesting on how these things play out, and one was very random. And I even asked her, talking to the HR person, how did you come across my resume? Having applied for, I don't know about hundreds of jobs, but certainly maybe close to triple digits. I have a very eclectic resume. I understand that, but certainly qualified for some of the positions that I did not get an interview from. I'm not talking about, going to be program director at WFAN. I did not apply for that job and probably not qualified for it. But I was qualified for some other jobs that again, not getting the gig is one thing, but not getting interviewed is like, who did you interview? That's different, and yet, maybe my eclectic background impressed her. I don't know. I do have a little hospitality background that kind of gives it away a little bit, but not really. So it would be a complete change. but something that I guess if you've been paying attention, I've been interested in for a while. So we'll see. That may give it away more. Again, when all this gets settled, I will recap the whole, well, not the last 6 months, but certainly the last 2 months. And, it could still take at least another couple weeks for this to work itself out. So I'm on to the second round with this out of town and out of industry discussion. It's fun. It's thrilling. It's something brand new. But I don't know if the word is impressive, but it's going to be totally, it's going to be great if it works out. All right. If it works out. So we will let you know at the time. If not, I still have something here and potentially something outside of here. All right. We got to wrap this up. Again, 60 today. We had over 100 yesterday. Really impressive. Thank you so much. Don't forget about Lockdown Sunbelt. When I come back, I'm going to share Lockdown Sunbelt with all the Facebook groups. I'm sure they'll love the whole year of the Bobcats thing. And then see if I can reach out to some of these coaches that haven't come on. And finally get around to doing the rest with audio for SchultzeCast, which has been lacking. That's probably a little lazy on my part. And just get the emblem and fill in the YouTube channels and see if we can get some more followers on SchultzeCast. She's like, or watching it on YouTube. No one watches it on YouTube. It's interesting. People watching it here on Twitter. All right. Thank you so much for hopping on. Have a great day. We will be back tomorrow for another edition of the SchultzeCast, episode 60, I think. Yeah, episode 60. All right. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.